I think the challenge today is just being able to experience real stuff, real humanity. And again, with this artificial world, we feel like through social media and stuff that we are connecting with people when we're probably really not connecting with people. Whereas, back in the day, if you wanted to talk to your neighbor, you went and talked to your neighbor. Nowadays you might text them or you might put something on Facebook or whatever the case may be. You send them an email. Well, that's not really connecting with our neighbor. It seems that it may be more challenged to keep the faith in the modern world because we've lost the sense of what's truly real. You go back to the, St. Thomas Aquinas and the church fathers, they were always looking to nature. They were looking to how God created things, how they work together. And we've sort of live in this artificial world in some ways, especially with AI, and everything's controlled, climate's controlled, everything is controlled. And so we don't really live in nature anymore. And so people that would have grew up in the 1800s, like they would have depended on God for everything. It's like, if we're going to have something to eat tomorrow, like we need rain or we don't need rain or we need the crops to succeed. And nowadays it's like, well, I just got to go to Walmart or I got to go to Kroger, go to McDonald's, whatever. And so I think the challenge today is just being able to experience real stuff, real humanity. And again, with this artificial world, we feel like through social media and stuff that we are connecting with people when we're probably really not connecting with people. Whereas, back in the day, if you wanted to talk to your neighbor, you went and talked to your neighbor. Nowadays you might text them or you might put something on Facebook or whatever the case may be. You send them an email. Well, that's not really connecting with our neighbor. And again, maybe that's why it's become so easy, to be divided, to forget about our brothers and sisters, to hurt people. We live in a world where it seems like, I don't necessarily believe that it is, that we continue to be divided by so many different social issues and political issues. But I just, again, think that's just evil. As I say all the time, this is not the Democrats and the Republicans. This is not, this group versus this group. It's always good versus the evil. And you always have to look at the other side as these people were created by God. We were created, but we're all created by God. God all wants us to go to heaven. And that's the reality of it. That's the real thing. And we just live in a world where I think that does become more and more difficult. And so just continuing to remind ourselves of that.
In this whole age of AI, Pope Leo, that's one of the first things he said to the cardinals the day after he was elected as Pope, is, we have to come up, we're entering, I guess he called it a new revolution with this whole AI thing. We've got to figure out how to combat this and continue to show, human dignity and what it means to be made in God's image and likeness. But I think another challenge we have is that our attention spans are so short, they're so limited. One of the things Father Ryan does just to chill out, and I do as well, is we watch movies or TVs. I have a hard time just sitting there for even 20 minutes to watch a single episode of something without getting my phone out, because you have all these videos like throughout social media platform called like shorts or reels or something. They're like 30 seconds long. And it's like, that's what we have programmed our mind to. We have a hard time reading books as in general, because, we don't have, we're using our phones, we're using our iPads. These aren't bad inventions. They've really helped human society to progress. But, what are the downsides of that? What is bringing us to reality? One of the bad habits I got into is praying the Liturgy of the Hours on my phone. And then I started praying it with the Breviary, the actual book. And I found that prayer to be much more enriching when you just put the phone down, you leave it in the other room, and, you're just sitting there in silence. There's nothing, else, around you. And I've found that, finding that balance has been probably the most fruitful for me personally.
I think too that just the importance of going on retreats, and not just for priests, but everybody. You think, well, I've got a family. Well, you can always get away for a weekend. You can get away for a Saturday, Sunday. Retreats are very important. A retreat where you don't have your phone, where you don't mess with social media, where you're just focused on, you have an opportunity, like there's no agenda for the day. Like you get up, all you get to do is pray, read spiritual books, take a nap. That's it. Like there's nothing I think more rewarding than that. I mean, we were talking again, we have a priest support group, and we were talking to some different priests about just the fact that the importance of retreat and how you don't go for a couple of years. And then again, just the fruit of a retreat. I went this past spring, and again, I just love them because again, you can get rid of all the craziness, all the stuff that's going on in the world, and you can just focus on prayer. I read 2 or 3 different books because oftentimes that's the other thing. You don't have a lot of time to read books because you're super busy, you're doing things here and there, and people are always asking, so you're just all over the place all the time, which is good. That's all good stuff. It's just life. You get busy, and you just got to find time to do that. I mean, again, I believe the keys to the spiritual life are just that one-on-one time with God. It can be a lot of different places. It can be in a chapel, it can be in a church, it can be going on a walk, it can be lots of different places. I think spiritual reading is huge. That's why I try to read a little bit at least every day. Obviously for priests, it's Liturgy of the Hours. I like to do the rosary, but I just think it's just getting away from the world and praying is the most important thing. Let me put a cherry on the top in terms of the retreat. So again, for a lot of people that think they can't get away, weekends, you can just do your own retreat. A lot of times I think people believe I've got to go to this specific place. There has to be a speaker. No, you can literally just go to St. Mindred and stay the weekend. They have a guest house. It's like a hotel. You can just get a room on a Friday and Saturday night and just stay there and pray with the monks and go to Mass with them on Sunday. Literally, that's it. And just do your own retreat. It doesn't have to be anything special. The Whitesville Passionist nuns, same thing. They have a retreat house. You can rent a room, Gethsemane. You just go, you rent a room for a couple nights and just pray. I mean, you can do something more formal. You can get a spiritual director. There are retreats that you can go on all around the country. There's all kinds of different things you can do. But I think sometimes people think it has to be this big, long thing and I have to have this all. It doesn't have to be. Literally, you can just go get a room and just stay and pray.